Philosophy family. I extend a hearty welcome to all of you to be associated with the academic platform of Philosophy family. Uh, Friends, today we have a very good topic, philosophy, science, and religion. And today we have invited one of the eminent professors of our country, Professor Hamidulla Marazi. And you know, Professor Hamidulla Marazi is a very prominent and internationally reputed scholar, particularly specialized in Islamic studies, philosophy, and interfaith dialogues. Uh, he um, and he's very popular in philosophy family. Previously, he has contributed many talks in philosophy family, and we all have been benefited by his talk. And regarding the introduction of Professor Maraji, I don't want to speak more. And you know, he was and he had served more than 3 decades in Central University of Kashmir as a professor of philosophy. And besides the teaching experience of more than 3 decades, Professor Maraji is a well-known author who has written many books on Islamic faith, epistemology, interfaith dialogue, role of Islam in the development of civilization, science, and technology. Professor Maraji had served many dignified academic capacities when he was working in University of Kashmir. Professor Maraji uh, is also a well-known editor who has edited many internationally reputed journals. And Professor Maraji is very popular for establishing Harmony Foundation in Kashmir. He works towards fostering interfaith harmony and religion and thing. So I don't want to explore all the things about Professor Maraji. Professor is a very good Professor Maraji, a very excellent orator, writer, and educationist. I extend my pranam, I extend my regard to him to be associated with us and to deliver and who has agreed to deliver talk today. So I welcome him. I welcome the senior most professors of our country like Professor Ranjit Ghosh sir, Professor Vishnu Chaudhary sir, Professor Uma Madam, Dr. Srinivasan, Professor Abhinash sir, Professor Radhanath Bera sir, and and many other senior professors of country. I welcome I welcome the all the uh, professors and scholars of philosophy and other disciplines to be associated with us on this very academic platform of philosophy family. I uh, I also extend my regard to Prashant sir and others to be with us. So uh, we welcome Professor Hamidullah Maraji. We welcome all the senior professors. We welcome all the scholars of philosophy and other disciplines. And today I welcome my friend, Dr. Pramod Kumar Das, the convener, host, and admin of philosophy family. I extend my best wishes to Dr. K. Omnan Rao, the co-admin of philosophy family. With this, I welcome everybody and request Professor Maraji to speak on the scheduled topic, philosophy, science, and religion. Over to Professor Maraji.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very generous introduction. Professor Pramod Kumar Das, Professor Kailash Chandra ji, Professor Radhanand, Professor Ruma Vani, and Professor Avinaji, Professor Rakesh Kumar, and others who are present. As Just salute you all. And I feel very much grateful to philosophy family who has given me chance to talk to this learned audience with whom I have been in touch with for so many years now. And we had some very good programs and interactions in the earlier days as well. So today's topic is interesting and also controversial. So what is the relationship between philosophy, science, and religion? And in most cases, science, philosophy, and religion are often perceived as separate or even conflicting domains. However, historically and conceptually, they are deeply intertwined in their quest to understand reality, truth, and existence. So now I'm trying to just tell you some basic points about relationship between science, philosophy, and then I will talk about religion and philosophy and how we can make a sense of the relationship or conflict or concord between these three important domains of human knowledge and epistemology. So first of all, science and philosophy, a symbiotic relationship. Science and philosophy are mutually dependent in several critical ways. For example, philosophy lays the conceptual foundation for science, assumptions of science, the question of what constitutes knowledge, what counts as evidence, and how we define causality, are all philosophical inquiries. Science cannot do without philosophy because there are philosophical stances implicit in the presuppositions and goals of any scientific paradigm, as has been mentioned by D. Harrow in his book long back. Historical entanglement, great scientific revolutions were driven by philosophical concerns. For example, Newton's Principia was as much about metaphysical questions of space and time as it was about motion and gravity. Likewise, quantum theory emerged from grappling with conceptual paradoxes. Philosophy is the cradle of science, I quote from Whitehead, and the two cannot be separated without mutilating the enterprise of human knowledge, unquote. Whitehead in Science and the Modern World, which was published in 1925. Paradigm shifts require philosophical vision. Thomas Cohen's concept of scientific revolutions demonstrates how paradigm shifts occur not just through data accumulation, but through conceptual upheaval, often led by philosophically minded scientists. So many people today, says Einstein, and even professional scientists seem to me like someone who has seen thousands of trees but has never seen a forest. So we can understand how scientists like Einstein, they have also shown that there is a great relationship between science and philosophy. Now coming to science and religion, whether there is dialogue or there is tension between philosophy and religion, science and religion. Science and religion have had both conflict and cooperation, depending on historical context and methodological assumptions. Complementary Magistria, Stephen J. Gould, he says, non-overlapping magistria suggesting science covers the empirical realm, how the universe works, and religion deals with the questions of meaning, morals, and ultimate purpose. Science tries to document the factual character of the natural world. Religion, on the other hand, operates in the equally important but utterly different realm of human purposes, meanings, and values, as has been mentioned by Gold Rocks of Ages in 1999. Historical religious foundations of science. Many founders of modern science, Newton, Kepler, Galileo, Boyle, were devout believers who saw science as a means of uncovering God's order in creation. The laws of nature are written by the hand of God, In the language of mathematics, says Galileo. Kepler echoed this belief. I was merely thinking God's thoughts after him. And he has talked this in his book, A Wasteful, The Construction of Modern Science. Philosophy and religion, foundations of meaning and metaphysics. Philosophy and religion share an interest in ultimate questions. What is the meaning of life? What is the nature of existence? Does God exist? Philosophy refines religious belief. Philosophers such as Aquinas, Al-Farabi, Averroes, and Mullah Sadra, and also in the Indian context, Aurobindo Ghosh, Vivekananda, and even Shankara, they worked to rationalize and systematize religious belief using philosophical tools. As has been said by Aquinas in his Summa Theologica, philosophy is the handmaid of theology. A thing's perfection is in its return to its origin. The ultimate perfection of man is to return to the divine, says Mullah Sadra. Religion as metaphysical backdrop for science, especially Islamic civilization, Tawheed, oneness of God, shaped the belief in an ordered, lawful cosmos, essential for empirical science. The universe is a book of God's creation, just as the Quran is his word, says Ibn Rushd Averroes in his book Tahafatul Tahafa. Religion and the ethics of science. Religion can offer moral guidance on the use and purpose of science. Modern bioethics, for instance, often draws on religious principles regarding human dignity and life. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. This is a famous quotation of Einstein, which has been mentioned in Ideas and Opinions, which was published in 1954. Integrated view, science, philosophy, and religion. So we can understand that the ultimate questions which are being asked by philosophy and science is just trying to bring some meaning to those questions. And religion is also bringing meaning. And we know what is the truth mechanisms, causality, we know that in science we have reasoning, logic, and conceptual analysis. And in science we have observation, experimentation, and in religion we have revelation. Role in knowledge as critically frames other domains, that is the way of philosophy. And in science it produces testable knowledge, and ideal dialogue cosmology clarifies assumptions of both, empirically explores reality, that is the domain of science, and so far as philosophy is concerned, grounds ethics and cosmology after taking help from religion as well in many cases. The relationship of science with philosophy and religion. Science, philosophy, and religion are traditionally seen as separate domains of human inquiry, yet their interrelations are historically, methodologically, and epistemologically significant, especially in light of ongoing debates about knowledge, meaning, and truth. Science and philosophy, these have mutual dependency. While science is often praised for its empirical rigor and testability, its methods, assumptions, and concepts are deeply philosophical. The Dilthey distinction, explanation versus understanding. Wilhelm Dilthey famously distinguished between the natural sciences and the human sciences. Erika Lennon, to explain, is the task of the natural sciences. Westerhin, to understand, is the aim of the human science, not to reduce human action to causal laws, but to relate parts meaningfully to the whole. Science explains the world via universal, law-governed mechanisms, often formalized in mathematics, but such explanation rests on epistemic and metaphysical assumptions that philosophy brings to light. Science needs philosophy to understand itself. Critics such as Stephen Hawking have declared that philosophy is dead and that scientists are now the sole torchbearers of discovery. However, as D. Harrow points out, quote, in order to argue that one does not need philosophy, one must do philosophy. For as soon as one starts to rationalize this view, One is engaging in philosophy of science, unquote. Philosophy clarifies the foundations of scientific concepts such as space, time, causality, and matter, and it analyzes the structure and limits of scientific reasoning. This analytical function is vital, especially during paradigm shifts. Paradigms and presuppositions of Cohenian view. Thomas Cohen, 1962, emphasized that scientific revolutions are not just empirical updates, but conceptual upheavals. A paradigm includes, quote, ways of looking at the world, traditions of research, and presuppositions about what counts as a scientific question, unquote. The structure of scientific revolution. These presuppositions are often philosophical in nature and necessary for constructing and interpreting theories. Science and religion, as I have already mentioned, dialogue, conflict, and complementarity. The relationship between science and religion is more dynamic than simply oppositional. Complementary, different domains of inquiry. Stephen J. Gould proposed the idea of non-overlapping magisteria, NOMA. Science covers the empirical realm, religion deals with ultimate meaning and moral values, unquote. This view holds that conflict arises only when one intrudes into the other's domain. Religious roots of scientific inquiry. Historically, many early scientists were religious thinkers, as I mentioned, like Newton, Kepler, and Boyle. The laws of nature are written by the hand of God in the language of mathematics. This was a very famous saying, of Galileo. And in the same way, Kepler, as I mentioned, I was merely thinking God's thoughts after him. The Islamic tradition also contributes significantly. Ibn Hassam, often considered the father of modern optics, justified his empirical methods on Quranic principles of reflection and observation, gutas. Ethics and meaning, religious normative role. Science, while powerful in explaining how things work, cannot on its own determine whether something should be done. Religion offers ethical frameworks guiding scientific progress. Science without religion is lame. As I said, religion without science is blind, as has been mentioned by Einstein. So this is a very important point which has been highlighted by Einstein. Philosophy and religion, and there is metaphysics and meaning. Philosophy and religion both grapple with ultimate questions, the nature of being, the foundation of knowledge and moral values, rationalized faith. Islamic, Christian, and Jewish and Hindu traditions have used philosophy to clarify theological doctrines, notably in the works of Ibn Rushd, Aquinas, Maimonides, Aurobindo Ghosh, Rabindranath Tagore, and other philosophers of the world. And for that reason, it has been said rightly by Aquinas, philosophy is the handmaid of theology. A shared interest in metaphysics, both religion and philosophy, explore the structure of reality, often beyond empirical verification. What Kant called the nominal realm, concepts such as God, soul, and purpose requires metaphysical exploration, whether religious or philosophical. Science without philosophy lacks conceptual clarity. Philosophy without science risks abstraction. Religion without philosophy may lack rigor, and without science may risk relevance and become irrelevant. As D. Horrow has aptly said, he says philosophy is useful to scientists and some amount of philosophical activity is necessary in order to construct a theoretical framework for doing science. Science as a response to religious cosmology, some scientific advances were promoted or prompted by theological motivations. For instance, Big Bang cosmology was originally resisted by some scientists because it echoed the idea of a created universe, a core religious belief. Quote, the first 3 minutes were God's minutes, Steven Weinberg. The first 3 minutes, 1977. Though Weinberg himself was a skeptic, he recognized the theological implications of the theory. Albert Einstein has also explained this aspect, the relationship between religion and science. Explanation can be given like this. Einstein believed that while science provides factual knowledge, religion imparts ethical guidance and existential meaning. he saw them as interdependent in a meaningful worldview. The most beautiful emotion we can experience is the mysterious, says Einstein. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and the true science. Explanation of this statement can be like this. He considered the sense of wonder essential to both scientific discovery and spiritual experience. God does not play dice with the universe, he says, and we can explain it in this way. He objected to the randomness of quantum theory, favoring determinism and order, which he saw as reflecting a deeper reality. Leon B. Barbour, he says science can purify religion from error and superstition. Religion can purify science from idolatry and false absolutes. Explanation of this is he advocates for mutual correction and enrichment between science and religion, where each helps keep the other in check. The goal of science is understanding lawful relations among natural phenomena. Religion is a way of life within a larger framework of meaning, says Barbour. And this can be understood in different ways. And we understand, as Neil Bohr says, the opposite of profound truth may well be under profound truth. This illustrates Bohr's principle of complementarity, suggesting that science and religion may offer non-conflicting yet different insights. And he says clarity and truth are complementary. He cites this in his book, Sobel. And it can be understood that he acknowledges the limitations of clear-cut understanding when dealing with complex realities like the quantum phenomena or divine mystery. I am constrained to attribute the uniqueness of the self or soul to a supernatural spiritual creation, says Achilles John. And a Nobel-winning neuroscientist, Achilles argued for dualism and believed that the self is a non-material entity created by God. So it is not always that all the scientists deny God, or they are doubting the validity or the tenacity of religion. There have been very good scientists from very beginning, from all cultures and civilizations and belonging to different religious denominations, who have espoused the theory that there is close relationship between religion and science and philosophy as well. So in this way, people like Sir John Achilles, who has been the neuroscientist and he has got Nobel Prize. So he has talked about this, that I am constrained to attribute the uniqueness of the self or soul to a supernatural spiritual creation, which means that there is dualism, and this self has been created by a non-material entity, which is known as God. And Karl Popper, the attempt to explain consciousness as a product of physical interactions is a failure. It is a philosophical prejudice of materialism, unquote. It means, though agnostic, Popper held that materialism cannot account for human consciousness, siding with dualist models. Paul Dirac, if we are honest and scientists have to be, we must admit that religion is a jumble of false assertions. It means that he maintains a firm materialist and atheistic stance, dismissing religion as unscientific. Max Planck, both religion and science require a belief in God. For believers, God is in the beginning, and for physicists, he is at the end of all considerations. It means that he emphasizes the compatibility of religious beliefs with scientific inquiry, seeing God as the source and goal of both. And we know, as Aristotle has said long back, all men by nature desire to know. Wonder is the beginning of philosophy. Aristotle is metaphysics. And explanation. Philosophy and by extension science and theology begins in the human experience of wonder. Ghazali, he has also talked about compatibility of science and religion. For example, what is necessary is to deny the attribution of necessary necessity to the connection observed in nature, for it is by divine habit, of the philosopher. It means that Ghazali challenges the Aristotelian causality, asserting that natural laws function only by God's will. And then we have Kawam Gowaki. Both religion and science are concerned about our understanding and interpretation of reality, even though their interpretations generally differ. It means that Gowaki emphasizes the shared goal of interpreting reality while noting different methodologies. He says science and religion must be seen as presenting complementary accounts of reality, unquote. He argues for a complementary model over a conflict model between science and religion. Taken all these views together, we can say that there is a great relationship between philosophy, science, and religion. And sometimes I feel that even science was given the beginning or the impetus by religious teachings. Otherwise, there was no possibility of meeting the heaven with the earth and earth with the heavens, humans with the God and God with the humans, and cosmos. So in this way, there has been, a great deal of interaction between philosophy and science, between science and religion, and philosophy and religion. And we can't separate those, although the domains are different. Basically, there are epistemological, differences so far as the source of knowledge in philosophy is concerned, in science is concerned, and religion is concerned. Mostly in science, we have sense perception, sensory knowledge, sensibilia, and sense data. And sensory knowledge is the basis of science and observation, experimentation, and verifiability, as has been mentioned also by logical positivists. And so far as philosophy is concerned, there is rationalization, analysis. And in modern times, we have logical positivists. They believed in logical consistency of the statements. And then language philosophy, we have also existentialists are there, and then pragmatists are there, and there are so many other types of philosophers who have just propounded different philosophies and different theories. And mostly philosophy is grounded in the reason. So reason is the source of knowledge for the philosophers, although there are two types of philosophers. We have empiricists and we have rationalists. So empiricists think that when man is born, his mind is like tabula rasa. It is like blank slate. Nothing is written on that. And whatever we write, that we write through our experience. As has been said by Locke in his book concerning human knowledge, and Hume also a treatise on human nature, as well as Berkeley, SAP is Percipi, and other scholars, and Bertrand Russell. In his many books like Our Knowledge of the External World, Human Knowledge, Limits and Scope, and so many other books he has mentioned about these aspects, that our knowledge is based on sense perception. And there have been philosophers also who believe the reason is the source of knowledge. And we have Descartes, and we have Spinoza, and we have so many other philosophers of the West and East who believed that reason is the source of knowledge and rationnation is the basis of different epistemologies. While as we have some philosophers who believe in intuition, like Bergson, and in the Indian context, so many philosophers of India and then Sufis in Islamic history, they also believe it apart from sense perception, reason, also in intuition. Intuitive realities, they are intuited and they are being imbibed from the above or from the supernatural sources. While as there are philosophers who believe that there is one other source of knowledge, that is revelation. And revelation is the basis of religion. You may call it Shruti, and you may call it Vahy, or you may call it spirit, whatever you may call it. So there has been this source of knowledge which is adopted and which is accepted by the people of religion, that there is some extra sensory source of knowledge and something which is supra-rational, which is beyond and above reason, and which is even beyond and above intuition, as has been said by Ghazali, while the sainthood ends, prophethood starts. Sufis or saints are at the feet of the prophets. So in this way, there is a source of knowledge which is different from sense perception, reason, intuition, which is accepted by religions. And religions believe that prophets have brought a message which is beyond the capacity of humans to get such knowledge on their own. based on their own sense-personal reason. And they need an external source of knowledge which has come from above, that is from God. Although there are religions which believe in knowledge which is just, basically inner knowledge, which is got after the intuitions or after meditations. And when you cultivate your own thoughts and you are just able to concentrate on the realities, and then you intuit and from within. Whereas there are religions, especially Semitic religions, they believe that the religious teachings are coming from above, from the external source, from Gabriel, you may call him, and then they are in form of books or in the dreams or behind the wheel, Mimwara hijab. So these concepts are there also in different religions, and especially in Semitic religions. Whereas in Indic religions or Aryan religions, we have the concept of type of intuition, and through meditation and contemplation and samadhi, so you get some knowledge. So there are so overlapping and crisscrossing conceptions about this divine knowledge which is given to the humanity by the religions. And religions have been there always, and according to Islam, all the nations had prophets. لِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ إِلَّا خَلَا فِيهَا رَسُولٌ. There is not a single nation of the world where the prophets have not come. And they have brought such knowledge which was not able otherwise, which people were not able otherwise to get on their own through their sense perception, reason, or even intuition. So they needed divine guidance which came from God from time to time in order to guide the people about their life, about even belief systems, about their social affairs, about their marital relations, about their economic and other aspects of life, affairs of life. And it has been a constant history, and almost all the great civilizations, they are based on religious teachings. And we have only in modern times this civilization of Western civilization that is an era of atheism. But in most cases, most of the civilization of the world, they were based on the religious teachings brought by the prophets or the seers or the sages. So in this way, religion had been there always, and even in some cases, it was religion which has given great impetus to philosophy and science. And in Islamic civilization, the great philosophers and scientists, they were religious people as well. For example, Ibn Sina, he had memorized the Quran by heart. In the same way, even the poet like Hafiz Shirazi, he was Hafiz of the Quran. He was remembering whole Quran by heart. And then Ibn Khaldun and Imam Ghazali and Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Haytham, Al-Khawarizmi, these were all great philosophers as well as scientists as well as religious people. In the same way, in Indian context, we have great sages and philosophers. They were very much religious, but they had great scientific vigor. And they had also contributed to the development of scientific thought. And for example, we have this yogic practice and yoga, which was a type of a scientific and medically tested exercise for good health. So, and it has been accepted by the world now as one of the universal practice for improving health. So this has also scientific implications. In the same way, there have been other such type of philosophies, and especially about mathematics and in other subjects, India was ahead of other nations. In the same way, other communities have contributed a great deal to this aspect. And while the people who are based on religion, they have also contributed a great deal to the scientific, philosophical, and religious understanding. And in earlier times, religion, science, and philosophy, these were just like sisters. And these were just working together in hand and glove with, as has been mentioned by Ibn Rushd, Averroes, in his book, Fasl Maqal Fima Bain al-Shariati wal-Hikmat min Itsal, there is a great relationship between religion and philosophy and science. So science is like philosophy is like a foster sister of religion. He has mentioned that in his book, and Manhaj Adillah as well. In the same way, Ghazali has also supported science, and he says, and reason, he says, how we can oppose reason when God has praised it. The example of reason is like eye, and example of Sharia or religion is like sun. If we have no eye, we can't have the vision of the sun. And the same way, reason, that is philosophy, has been accepted, and they have studied philosophy, and they have written books on this subject a great deal. And in Indian context also, in the other parts of the world, and we have Maimonides, and we have Sadiq of the Jews, and the Augustine and Aquinas from the Christians, and Muslims. I have mentioned many philosophers. So in this way, there has had been a great relationship between philosophy, science, and religion. And it was only in modern times, in the era of atheism, when some people have claimed that there is no relationship between science and religion and philosophy. Otherwise, in the Asian context, Oriental context, there had been a very great, concern between philosophy and science, and they have worked together. Thank you very much. We can now have some questions, and then I can just continue. Thank you very much. Jazakallah.
Okay, thanks so much, Professor Marazi, for your very beautiful and excellent exposition and conceptual analysis on philosophy, science, and religion. And you have also said that there is a great deal of interaction between science, philosophy, science, and religion. And you have taken the views and contribution of the great philosophers, scientists, and the religious thinkers to establish your stand. You have said that there is a very beautiful relationship between science and the philosophy, and you said that philosophy is the cradle of science, and it has a many historical and religious foundation. Regarding science and philosophy, you have said that they are very intertwined. One influences the other. Regarding the epistemology, nature of knowledge, etc. I don't want to explore all the things. I have said that how philosophers explore the limits of scientific inquiry and scientific advancement by inquiring what can be known and how can the sort of knowledge can be established. And you have also made a very beautiful conceptual analysis of science and religion. And although they are very complex and debatable, you have said that how scientific theories may challenge religious beliefs about human origin and human existence and other things. And regarding philosophy and religion, you have put your stand very clearly that how both are intertwined throughout the history, and one also influences the other. And regarding the reality, ethics, morality, human existence, free will, and all things. But but there is contemporary debates, and there is a compatibility, there is a contradiction, there is a debates among philosophy, religion, and science. So it will continue. The debate will continue, and human knowledge regarding a justification that will be established. All the things that. Thanks so much, Professor Maraji, for a very beautiful exposition. All the things, but debates will be there, and I would like to request Professor Dr. Pramod Kandas to our long.
Hello.
Yes, Professor Das.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Maharana. We are really grateful to Professor Maraji for having a very wonderful presentation. Everything was very clear. The distinction between philosophy, science, and religion is very clear. And he justified the distinct domain of these three disciplines, philosophy, science, and religion. These three have equal contribution to human life, and there should not be interference of one discipline into another. That leads to crisis. Generally, we suffer from that when one discipline interferes with another discipline. So we shall discuss. I shall have my observation later on. So now I shall invite Srinivasan ji. He has raised his hand. Sir, please have your observation. Then we shall go to Alodandran ji.
Okay. Thank you
Yes, sir.
very
Yes.
much for the nice opportunity to listen to Professor Dr. Hamidullah Marazi's excellent speech. I presume, or rather, I am forced to accept that he is a positivist, that he has not antagonized philosophy, either philosophy or religion or science. Okay, all well said and done, but unfortunately or fortunately, coming to the latest trend in the 21st century, I hope everybody would have heard about Kurzweil, that is Kurtzweil, Kurzweil. Uh, he was an unknown, engineer for some time, and suddenly he got into familiarity. That's because of his inventions like Google Pichai. And if you just uh, make a Google search about Kurzweil, you'd be surprised to see that he is a CEO in Google also. He is the CEO of the engineering section who handles about the artificial intelligence, which is a very vital point in the present day trend of relationship between science, religion, and philosophy. I am really surprised how such a learned great professor like Marazi has not touched upon the artificial intelligence at all. Is rather perplexing me that I am tempted to ask you, Professor Sir, with the due apologies, that Kurzweil predicts his predicts may surpass human intelligence by 2047. How do Advaita Vedanta or Buddhist theories of consciousness like Anatman respond to such a possibility? This juxtaposes machine sentience with spiritual sentience is my first question, sir. I am sorry, it is my first inquiry. Not
Oh,
even I am not. Entitled to ask such a great professor like Mr. Professor Marazi, but still I am tempted to. Have an inquiry about this, please. I have four questions. This
thank
is
you.
number one,
Okay.
and if I will come about it otherwise, if time permits and the admin permits, about other questions later on. But this always a conflict between religion and science in the present day trend. And the second question is, if you compare the soul of a person and machine, can artificial intelligence ever have an Atman at all? Do they possess spiritual self? It bypasses Sankhya, Advaita, Cartesian dualism, and Kurzweil is a functionalist. How do you say about his view on these two questions, sir? Please.
Mashallah. Very good question. Basically, I feel that every new invention in science that brings a challenge both to philosophy and religion, and sometimes to the scientists. And everything is astonishing. So, first of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Srinivasan because he has been always encouraging people for great philosophical debates. And this time also, he was so much desirous that I should also join some program after a long time. I was very busy. Now he has brought me back. I am very thankful to him. And
Thank you.
it is because of him that I have been just interacting with you great people on this forum. He
Oh, I am sorry. Not at all. It is your personal.
Yeah, that's. But mashallah, it was very good always to talk to you and learn from you also and talk to you. So first of all, what you said, you are right, that this artificial intelligence, this has posed many questions to us, and not only to the religious people or philosophers, but even to the scientists. There are people are very much worried. But let me tell you, every new invention of science has startled people. It has perplexed people. It has bewitched people at their times. But with the passage of time, it loses its sheen. And as you rightly said, artificial intelligence can't replace soul or self or the consciousness. So consciousness has had been always there and it will remain there. Had there been no conscious person who has invented this artificial intelligence, there would have been no artificial intelligence as well. So man is behind machine always, and it is not a ghost in machine as Gilbert Wright would have said about Descartes' mind-body relationship. So in this way, it may be artificial intelligence or it may be something else which will come with the passage of time. The role of humans and the consciousness of man and the soul and body and self, these will be the subjects which will be discussed still. Let me tell you that in the Western context of philosophy, many philosophers had dispensed with soul and spirit already, and some had also dispensed with mind. They were considering that their mind is just like a ghost in a machine, as Gilbert Wright would say. And then they reach finally to the brain, and even they dispense it with the brain, and then they say when man dies, it's a nervous breakdown. It is not that soul is coming out from the man or woman and he or she dies, but it is the nervous breakdown. So they try to just concretize everything and make it a material thing. Like these are just the molecules. And as there are many molecules in the world, everything of the universe is consisting of molecules. So is the man, as has been said by Chakbas Lakhnavi. He was a Urdu poet. He says that लाई हयात, he says that जिंदगी क्या है अनासिर में ज़ुहूर तरकीब, मौत क्या है उन्हीं अज़ा का परेशान होना. What is life? Life is that the particles of earth have assembled and we became. And what is death? These disintegrate and we die. There is no soul like that. So this has been the Charvakas also. Eat, drink, and be merry. No one can escape this searching eye of death. So certain people have been talking about that there is no soul, there is no mind, and there is no spirit. So, but this is just for the time being. It may people may accept it, but it's not true. Even in this artificial intelligence, it can't dispense with their conscience or self or soul. So the soul will play its role, self will play its role, and especially in the Oriental context, in Indian context, in Indian subcontinent context. So we are the people who have been believing in soul, consciousness, spirit, and all these self. So in this way, and there is logic behind that as well. But when we just concretize everything and we make everything a material thing, then we think that there is no soul, there is no consciousness, and then we believe that artificial intelligence is everything, and everything will be decided by artificial intelligence, and it will govern our lives, and it will be a monster, type of a monster. We have created it, and it will just control us. But I believe that human intelligence, not artificial intelligence, human intelligence will prevail, and it will also control all artificial things, including artificial intelligence. It needs a lot of time, and inshallah, if there is some other occasion, we can talk on the subject in detail. And this needs a detailed study, artificial intelligence and its interference in our affairs. It can make our everything redundant. Our knowledge and our activity and our dynamism will be lost if we rely that much on artificial intelligence. And that may be also a way of the West to control the East, because there is some domination theory going on in the minds of the people of the who are the big powers of the world. They want to control of everything of other communities, and one of the great sources of that is artificial intelligence, Wikipedia, and such type of they have devised such type of ways and means to control the minds of the people and their worldview and their everything. And with this, they want to galvanize the resources of the people. So we have to be just always an oriental in our concept of intelligence. They want to control us. We have those mechanisms to control our who want to galvanize these inventions for the control of human civilizations and cultures and
The philosophy and religion on one side and the science on the other side. And in the future days, I feel that there is going to be a great confrontation on this subject, especially the artificial intelligence, when Kurzweil says that death is a disease. When all diseases can be cured, the death also as a disease can be cured. That means what? So he is giving life to all the dead people. That is something is perplexing. That is what I am tempted to ask you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much for your explanation.
I am reminded about this Stephen Hawking is saying that is it possible that man can just walk into the past and a son can kill his father if we are able to walk into the past and time goes back, reverses, reversal of the time. So these are the figment of imagination of some of the scientists when they have left the belief in their God and their creator, and they just want to become gods themselves. It is only God who can create death and life. No man can control death and life, decaying, all these things. And these are the just whimsical things because when you leave God, you leave religion, you leave spirituality, you think we are just like mechanical things as we can, repair a machine, we can repair man as well. And he, if he we can bring him back to life. So this is the mechanical thinking of those people who have already left the spiritual aspects of life, and they have become very much, involved in this philosophy of materialism, atheism, and they think that everything is mechanical. There is no spirituality in anything. Man is just like a molecules, as molecule is consisting of molecules, as other items of the universe are consisting of the molecules. They don't make any difference between stone and man in this way, as we are machines. So we are not machines. We are humans. We have consciousness. God has breathed something of His soul into us. As Quran says, and also in Hinduism, we have the concept of Atma. So Atma is more powerful than our body. So that is more powerful than our intelligence. And that may be soul, that may be Atma, that may be self, that may be Ruh, that may be, you may call it Nafs. So in this way, we have to go by our own traditions because we have much more to give to the world rather than take from them. They have concretized everything, made it mechanical, as there's nothing else than this materialistic approach to everything of life, including artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Okay, let us hope for the best, sir. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Marazi, for your beautiful response. Now I shall invite Alok Tandonji. Sir, please have your observation. Dr. Alok Tandonji. Yes, sir, please.
Uh, Thank you very much, Pramodji. Since I am not feeling well, so I have not heard very attentively the lecture of Professor Maraji. But since I have already spoken on the subject on your own platform some time back, so I have my own take on this issue. And accordingly, I would like to ask a few questions. First of all, it is good that Professor Maraji says that science and religion must stick to their own domains so that conflict does not arise. Now, the question comes, which is the dividing line between the two? Where lies the domain of science and where is the domain of religion? Because, as far as I have understood, and as history shows, there has been a lot of conflict between science and religion regarding the nature of the world, outside world, natural world. And religion always obstructed most of the time, whether it is Galileo, whether it is Kepler, or against Darwin, and even today against the scientific understanding of the world. But slowly and slowly, we have found that religion's understanding of the world could not was defeated could not survive against the more dependable, powerful knowledge methodologies of the science, natural sciences. So, if I propose that religion should get away from the domain of understanding the natural world and leave that to the natural science. Would you like to agree? One. Number two, related to all this is the question of cosmology. Religious cosmology, which is based on the divine origin of the universe and the human beings, is not supported by any empirical evidence. And the cosmology science holds today, whether it is a Big Bang theory or a theory of evolution, will religious people or religious um, beliefs people or the systems and all that will leave that to the science or not force their own opinion about the divine origin of the man and universe without having any proper evidence for that. So, if that is not there, then the conflict will remain because Big Bang theory has got something else to say about the origin of the universe. Darwin's theory of evolution has got something different to say about the evolution of human beings. This has got nothing to do with that what religions have preached throughout history. Now the next question comes: what was the role of religion? Was it negative or positive? What Professor Maraji has done, that instead of giving arguments in favor of the positive role of religion, he has got his opinion supported by quotations from many scientists and philosophers. Now, there is a catch. Another person may come out with many other quotations from many other thinkers and scientists opposed to these things. For instance, if we take the uh, paper of Bertrand Russell, the simple paper was there that what most negative consequences of the place of religion or the role of religion in history as well as in society. So, we cannot depend upon the various quotes of the thinkers. We have to develop our own thinking and the arguments. Now, here we have to look into not only the cosmology of religions, which is very much contestable, also the role religion plays in society. And as we can see here, that religion and religions, I should not say religion, religions have separated people, and slowly, these separated people have become very, very much aggressive and violent towards the other separate religious groups. And this is what we are seeing all over the world, whether it is Middle East or in other parts of the world, and even in India, we have got a lot of communal violence based upon religion. You can say that this is not religion, but I must say that religion is not only the beliefs; it is also how these beliefs are practiced and functioned in the society. So unless we take a very very I must say the holistic view of religion, or in a sense, it is not only the beliefs; it has got many latent as well as manifest functions in the society, and nowadays it has become an ideology in the hands of ruling powers to subvert the freedom and the minorities. So, this role of religion has become very, very much problematic, and it has got nothing to do with compatibility or incompatibility of science or philosophy. Now, I expect that philosophy people must come very clearly. And here I would like to say that some religious people, most of the time, try to quote Einstein. And they don't know that Einstein's religion is not our religion, neither Hindu, Islam, or anything like that. You yourself said he was for the mysterious feeling, and his religion was the religion of Spinoza. And he also said that this personal God concept is very, very childish. He never accepted that. So, to put Einstein in favor of that religion and science is without science, it is lame and blind. This is some sort of misquoting to justify the organized religious brutality and atrocities throughout the world. So, we should be very cautious about the Einstein's religion. Einstein's religion is not the religion what we are discussing here. Many times we discuss dharma, and that dharma does not exist in this universe. What? Because that is an ideal construct. What we have, and in reality, the religion is the religions Hindu, Islam, Christianity, and their own power structures, their own way of inculcating beliefs. And those beliefs are most of the time proved to be superstitious, I must say, throughout history. And they have were very much against the development of science in civilization. So we must be very cautious when we say that religion and science must be compatible. Now I must ask this question. When you say that the realm of meaning and values is the realm of religion, I must say why we should expect religion to give meaning to life when it has got no understanding of the correct understanding of the word. Another thing, the values and the morality preached by religions throughout history has been very, very conservative. They have supported, even in case of India, you can take sati pratha, untouchability, against widow marriage, and justification and legitimization of caste system. So that role of religion inculcating some sort of great human values is also questionable. So instead of religious morality, now we need some different type of morality. And here I think philosophy people can help because philosophy is a domain in between science and religion. They can talk about the findings of science and the limitations of science also, because science has got no value preferences. It cannot talk about values to be given to the life. But philosophy people can also talk about the values provided by the religions and question their legitimacy as well as justification and their relevance in this modern world. So the point is that we should, as a philosophers, must try to understand the mediations, the place of science and religion in society, and the way both affect human beings individually and socially. But we should also not overlook the what religion is playing the havoc with this world. So we should not glorify religion, and this whole talk of revelation and authoritarianism, accepting any beliefs without considering its empirical uh, proofs, etc. These are the things of the medieval ages. Now we have come out of that, and we should limit the place of religion in our culture as well as in our society. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, am I allowed to respond, Professor Das?
No, no.
I want to respond.
Yes, you will do after I say. Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
You will reply.
Okay.
To both of us, Dr. Tandon
Okay.
ji and myself.
Go ahead.
Yes, yes. The topic is philosophy, science, and religion. We should understand the importance of this topic because there are many things to discuss. So we should limit the discussion to a particular way. What can be discussed within 1 hour, 2 hours. The point is what Professor Marazi highlighted that a person as an individual, for example, myself or anybody else, a person has three faculties. One is he has a faculty of inquiring, that he he will ask questions, questioning mind, inquiring, asking questions only. This is philosophy. It may be the question of science, it may be the question of religion, and it may be question of any social science. Any question that comes to our mind, that is philosophy. So philosophy is the inquiring attitude of a man. This part is over. This is philosophy. Science, the job of science is to answer these questions relating to the practical reality. So science deals with the real life, reality as such, cause and effect relationship, empirical reality, empirical modalities, changes, law of change, even region also. That is scientific by nature. That means to know the answers of the questions that come from our mind itself. Our mind is asking questions, and the another aspect of the same mind is to get answers. Asking question, getting answer. Asking question, getting answer. This is the play of science and philosophy. Intellectually, we are doing that. But these two are also not sufficient for human personality. Man should have a free zone of faith, free pursuit of faith, free pursuit of a belief, because inquiring and knowing cannot accommodate the entire knowledge, because our knowledge is too limited. Many great philosophers in both East and West, they have proved that human perspective of knowing is very much limited. We know the part out of the whole. Even we combine all genes so far we have discussed, we have created, that is not knowledge. Questions do not have any end, so philosophy has no end. Investigation, science means the true investigation, the free pursuit of investigation with empirical instrument. The methodology is different. The methodology of a philosophy is different. As Professor Maraji says, it is the rationalization, it's the attitude of rationality, asking questions. The methodology of science is different because it is the empirical investigation. We have to take the reality with us. We, when we are asking questions, we are free to ask any question that may be speculative by nature. But when we are answering the questions, we have to be empirical by nature. We have to be very scientific by nature. That is science. But beyond these two zones, there is another aspect of human life, that is the realm of faith. That there should be a free pursuit of faith, imagination, belief system. These three have their distinct domains, have their three distinct methodology, have their three distinct purposes. So the methodology of one should not interfere in the methodology of another. The purpose of one should not interfere with the purpose of another. And the foundation of one should not interfere with the purpose of another. Because of this interference, we are unnecessarily debating and engaging ourselves with different types of cross questions, answers. This is not necessary at all, because these are three disciplines and we are discussing what is philosophy. Philosophy is this much. Science is this much and religion is this much. One is faith, another is knowledge, and another is inquiring. And how they are interconnected? Philosophy including science and religion because philosophy has no personal questions. Philosophy is also taking the questions from science and religion. In that way, philosophy is necessary for both science and religion. How science is required? Science, science helps us to be free from the dogmatic pursuits. If philosophy is doing something wrong, if religion is doing something wrong, science is there to guide us, to give us the evidence, the practical investigation, practical knowledge with reality that don't be misguided by philosophy and religion. This is the verified truth. And religion is necessary for both science and philosophy because we should have a sense of humility that whatever we know, that is the subject to verification. That is not the final. We should have that submissive nature that I am finite and I am going to know the infinite through philosophy and science. So that may be inadequate. This attitude is religious attitude that I am myself a man having different instruments, not only with sense experience and reason as discussed here. There are many different sources. For example, intuition, another is revelation. There are many modes of epistemological methods, but all the methods taken together that cannot accommodate the infinite reality, the unseen reality, the unexplored reality. Therefore, we should believe in the sense of relativity as told by Einstein. That means everything is subject to change, everything shall pass away. This attitude is a religious attitude. It may be Hinduism, it may be Islamism, it may be any religious ism. That is the human, that means the realm of emotion, the realm of dedication, the realm of love. This part is religion. So when we take human personality as a whole, we have to be groomed with these three. If one aspect is overlooked, we are not complete. We should have a sound inquiring mind. As a child asks questions to mother. Every time we should have a learning attitude. We should ask questions. That is philosophy. Readily we have to go with the answers. We have to discover the answers. Science is the discovery of answers. Science is nothing but the discovery of answers raised by philosophy. The same scientist is a philosopher when there is questions in his mind, and the same philosopher is a scientist when he is taking the pragmatic reality into account without being biased by philosophical speculations and religious dogmatism. That is science. But after all, the question comes whether you are satisfied or not, whether you get peace or not, whether you do understand the real purpose of your life or not, whether we are doing lokasangraha or not, whether you are living a life of morality or not. All these questions, these aspects is regulated by our personal faith, personal belief, may be in God or may against God, but that is a part of religion. That is purely personal part, and that is required for human personality. Otherwise, we shall be not a we shall not have a complete personality. So here we are discussing philosophy, science, and religion as three instruments for growing and glowing human personality. How better we can inquire, how better we can answer the questions, and how better we can feel. So we have a feeling. We are not machines. We are different from AI, specifically in feelings. We have feelings, we have emotions, and that is a very private emotion, maybe private, maybe psychological, maybe subjective, maybe individual, so that there is no necessity others will interfere in my emotion. That is my personal zone. But similarly, I have my personal speculations, philosophy. But so far as science is concerned, that personal may be public, may be verified, may be empirically evident. So these three are necessary. One is the theory, that is philosophy. Science is the practice, and religion is to live peacefully with these instruments of theory and practice. So now, Professor Maraji, you respond.
Thank you very much. You have made my task very easy. Almost what I wanted to say, you have just said a lot of those things, and thank you very much for your explanation. So far as the questions of Professor Alok Tandonji are concerned, very valid questions. However, I have one reservation that it sounds to be reductionist approach about everything. So we want to reduce everything to science or everything to philosophy or everything to religion. And as you rightly said, Professor Das, that these are the three realms, and we should add another realm, that aesthetics, that is literature, poetry, and such type of aesthetics and other things we should also add to this. So as we know that religion is not to be just considered as hurdle in the way of science or philosophy or culture or civilization. As I mentioned already, all the great civilizations were religious civilizations. So we should not make these small things which are happening on the name of religion here and there because of ignorance, because of hatred, because of politics. These are not the nomenclature of religion. These are not the basis of religion. These are not the basic factors of religion. There are some vested interests in every community who are using religion or religious symbols for the political ends, not for the religious purposes. So religion has had been a reality throughout the annals of history. We can't condemn it to be against science, to be against reason. No. So where from the science has come? Even in Greek, the people who were just scientists, they were known as Elohim. Elohim means theologians. They believed in God, most of them, Plato and others. And then we have Plotinus. So he was, I should say, God intoxicated philosopher, as has been said about Spinoza as well. So he has talked only about God. And from that philosophy emerged science. And from that, philosophy, religion was also supported, and there have been a lot of arguments which have been propounded by the philosophers of religions like Saint Augustine in his Confessions and the City of God, and Aquinas in his Summa Theologica, and Ghazali, Tahafutul Philosopher, and Maqasidul Philosopher, and Ibn Rushd Fatwa in this, and that is Faslul Maqal Fima Bain al-Shariat wal Hikmat min Itsal, and Tahafutul Tahafa, and then Life Divine of Aurobindo Ghosh, and so many other such type of great books which have been written by our scholars. They belong to religion, but they have talked about philosophy, they have talked about science, they have talked about wisdom, and they have talked about literature, and they have given great books to the world, and they have given great wisdom to the world. And that has, just with the passage of time, that has become modern philosophy. And but in modern times, after the Renaissance and the Enlightenment, religion was relegated to oblivion, and there was a fight between church and science. But we can't generalize it. It was with the Christians, as Marx has rightly said. He calls the social laws of Christianity. He has not studied Islam. And there's only one reference in the whole books of Marx and Engels about Islam. That too, when Engels writes a letter to Marx and tells him that Messiah emerged in Mecca, who was at the trade route of this Syria. So, but there is no other reference towards Islam or Hinduism in his books, Marx's books, in Das Kapital. But he has talked only about the social laws of Christianity. And to generalize that all the religions have been like this, as church was there, that was making hurdles in the way of science, and Galileo and Copernicus and Kepler and Bruno, they had to face the music from these religious authorities. That can't be generalized. There have been scientists, as I mentioned, that, for example, in modern times, we had a great scientist who has been given Nobel Prize, Abdul Salam. He says, I have heard him himself in the Aligarh Muslim University, that he says that this law of unification was discovered by me based on the Quranic verse. I could not find any discrepancy in the laws of God here and there, in the heavens and the earth. And that led him to the unification theory, and on which he was given Nobel Prize. In the same way, I have seen, Abdul Kalam. So he also talks that wings on fire. He says that when I had to go to NASA, I went to masjid and I offered prayer there, and there has been no, contradiction between my faith and my science. In the same way, I have quoted Einstein and others. I have not quoted them in order to show that they accept what we mean by religion or what we mean by science. No, but they were not denying altogether religion. They were giving, credence to the religious truths as well, and they were saying religion has also a role in history and society and civilizational march. So we can't discard religion altogether, as some people are doing this in modern times. It was not like that. So most of the philosophers and most of the science, they believed in the religion as well as the guiding principle. And then basically the problem is with epistemology. What is the epistemological tools to reach to the reality? So science just takes the root, as has been said by Professor Das also, that it takes the root of empiricism and verification and sensory knowledge. And then philosophy takes the root of reason. And if we take empiricists and rationalists together, then we can join these. But in the Western tradition, we have either empiricists or either rationalists or intuitionists. But in the case of Oriental religions, Islam and Hinduism and Buddhism and other Jainism, so we can take at least two or three sources together, like sense perception, reason, and intuition. And in Islam, even revelation, and that is shurti in many ways. So in this way, how we can confine only to one source of knowledge, that is sense perception, and we reach to, in the words of Bertrand Russell, to sensibilia or sense data or the neutral monism, and then all the logical positivists, and say that unless and until we are able to verify, different type of propositions, that is nonsensical. So then where they are reaching to and where they have led us to, and this then now finally we reach to this dead end of the postmodernist approach, where there is no big narrative, there is no grand narrative, and there is absurdity, there is no meaning of anything. And there's the end of the history and the lost man. So this is this has been the fate of believing only in sensory knowledge, which has been the theory of positivism, which had been propounded by Auguste Comte, that there have been three stages of civilization. One was theological stage, second was metaphysical, and third is positivistic. So that is the historical role of religion. So, but we do believe history as the vehicle of revolutions, to quote Marx. So Marx has also tried to condemn or just to categorize everything in terms of materialist resources, and even religion he called as the opium of masses. Everything is the reflection of the material condition of the society, and that was a flaw, and that did not work. And finally, we found that in those countries which were controlled by the communism or Marxism, those revolted against that, and then they returned back to religion. Even West is returning back to religion nowadays. So in this way, there is something lacuna, there is something lacking in us when we just depend only on one source of knowledge. It may be sense perception in science, it may be reason in philosophy, it may be intuition in Sufism or mysticism, unless and until we take all these four sources together to make a civilization. All the civilizations have been based on these four sources of knowledge, and it may be Gandhara civilization, it may be Islamic civilization, Greek civilization, it may be Roman civilization, it may be Vedic civilization. So even civilizations are just getting inspiration from religion, and which philosophy, and religion becomes philosophy, and philosophy becomes science. And it is the outgrowth of that, cultural, civilizational, where from these great architectures have come. It may be Mughal architecture, it may be Hindu architecture, it may be Buddhist architecture. There has been the role of religion behind that. It was not only science. So the philosophy of religion, the Weltanschauung, that is the worldview, that was governing every activity of the communities, and they were marching ahead in their civilizational march. So in this way, we can't reduce. This is a reductionist approach to just say that science is everything. Science has been always there. Religion is opposed. No, it has been not there. Science has been not opposed always by religions. For example, as I said, as Salam Saab says himself, Salam, that Quran has not stopped me from going ahead to go for the unification theory. And there have been scientists like Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd, and Averroes, and then Augustine. So they have written on the science, but they were religious people. Their ethos was religious, and they contributed a great deal. And if we remove their name from the history, what will remain there in the history? So they were religious people. So how we can deny their role in science and philosophy and culture and civilization? So in this way, we have to be holistic, and the isms, whatever isms there have been, these have been faltering. They have not taken us anywhere. And whatever the violence is going on, behind every violence, there is ideology, not religion. When religion becomes ideology, that creates problem. It is not because of religion. Religion has always tried to create such personalities, human beings who have been humble, who have been sympathetic, who have been very very nice, contributing to their humanity and the values, and their role has been great in the history, and everything is known because of them. Be it Mahatma Buddha, be it Rama Krishna, or it may be Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or it may be Guru Nanak. It may be this we have Bhakti movement people. So great people, and their contribution can never be discarded. And they were motivated by religion and spirituality. They were not motivated by science or philosophy only, but their views have also contributed to awakening, that is inner awakening and outer awakening both. And as Professor Das has rightly said, we have not compartmentalized man. Man is as a whole, he has several dimensions: spiritual, emotional, and then material, physical, and aesthetic. So when we take religion takes care of many things which philosophy can't take. Philosophy takes care of several things. Science takes care, and when we combine all these sources together, then we have a complete man. Otherwise, man is like a machine, as these artificial intelligence people want us to believe. We are not machine. We are humans. We have feelings. We have a soul. We have a spirit, and we have a lot of emotions, which are making us what we are. So it needs a lot of discussion. But I feel that we can't discard religion, that it has opposed science always. No, there have been phases of history where religion has supported science, and because of that, we had great scientific inventions which have come to fore. In the same way, philosophy has also helped a great deal understand various problems. If we take these all together, these four, it may be philosophy, it may be science, it may be mysticism, and it may be religion, then a complete picture of a holistic development will just take place. And we can have a complete man, not a fragmented man, as has been mentioned by existentialists, Das man, who has become object in the objects of the world. And modern science has made us objects in this world, and we have become mechanical. We have become like molecules, as molecules, spiritual material molecules. We are a little bit human molecules. I don't know how to define it. So this Western philosophy and isms, whether it's communism or it is pragmatism, it is atheism, it is materialism, they have just reduced us to these aspects, as we have become mechanical agents rather than any living and I should say existing beings who have a great role. It is Das, not Das man. We have existence, we have being and nothingness. We have something more than that. We have freedom. Man is condemned to be free, as has been said by Sartre, Jean-Paul Sartre. Humanism is existence in humanism, and other philosophers of human existence, they have revolted against this objectification of humans. And our Indian philosophy and Oriental philosophy, Islamic philosophy, there is much value to everything. And that is not piecemeal, that is not partial, that is holistic in approach and taking all things together, not like Western approach to philosophy or religion or science, where either there is only sense perception or there is only reason or there's intuition, and there is no mention of surety or revelation. But when we take our Oriental philosophy into account, we find all these four sources are there, which give which give birth to a complete man who has feelings, who has spirit, who has soul, who wants to contribute something to the humanity. He does not think that we are just like the material stuff as other things of the world, or they don't believe, as Darwin has said, that we are there is survival of the fittest, and big fish is eating the small fish, and that is the culture of the West nowadays, clash of civilizations, and haves and have-nots. There's only fight, there's only killing, and there's only bloodshed. But in the Eastern civilization, Eastern religion, there was samvad, there was discussion, there was fellow feeling, there was student and teacher relationship, there was shish and teacher relationship, guru relationship, and there was a lot of love and respect for each other. And because of that, we have reached to the stage when we can contribute to world understanding of the reality. And it is our role now to tell the people who have made this life is not fragmented, it is holistic, it has a purpose, it has a meaning. We are not believing in postmodernism where there are no grand narratives. We believe history has a meaning, man has a meaning, and all narrative has a meaning, theory has a meaning. And this can be only given by the Oriental people to the West. Western philosophy has failed, and the dead end of that was postmodernism and post-normal times. So in this way, there it needs more explanation. Sometimes some other time I will definitely, and I could even talk about separately on philosophy, separately on science, separately on religion. But this was the beginning in this way, and we can have a good discussion on sir. But I am very thankful to Professor Alokji, because when you are just criticizing and you're responding like this, and it helps us a great deal. Then we start thinking introspecting, and then Professor Srinivasan and Professor Pramod Kumar Das and other friends, Yunaji and all, they have also just made many things clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Maraji. Um, only in 3 sentences, I shall contribute to what you said. Um, be truthful in your pursuit of inquiry. Be truthful in your pursuit of inquiry, irrespective of, underline this one, irrespective of your religion and the practical, pragmatic, scientific reality. Whenever you are doing philosophy, you go on asking questions. Don't fear even science. Don't fear religion. Don't be biased by science and religion as a philosopher when you are pursuing questions. But history says this has not. Religion has influenced philosophical inquiry. The Christian authorities, popes, they have influenced philosophers not to have a free pursuit of thinking. So many examples are there from Berkeley and many great philosophers. They have been, even scientists also. Scientists are also not free in their free pursuit of investigation. Galileo, Copernicus, they have faced problems. That should not be. When we are having free inquiry, we should be very much truthful. That is philosophy. Similarly, be truthful in your pursuit of scientific investigation, irrespective of the philosophy you cherish and the religion you belong. That freedom should not be disturbed by your philosophical thought and your religious belief. That is true science. Science should not be biased by philosophy and religion dogmatically. And be truthful in your pursuit of religion, irrespective of your philosophy and your scientific foundation. Irrespective of, because you are free to have your own religion. You are free to have to live your life with certain belief system. If it is not affected by anything else, and if it does not influence anything else, that is pure religion. That is also part of personality. So these three domains should be treated, should be taken care of without influencing each other. Professor Maraji gave so many examples how one discipline influences another disciplines, leading to conflicts. That should not be. The methodologies are different, the purposes are different, the foundations are different. And these three, when they are integrated, we have great creation. But when these three compete against each other, then we have conflicts only. This is the life what we live now. This is what the present generation is. If they are integrated, we have innovative creation. If they fight, if they compete, if they influence each other, we have a fragmented personality. We should have a complete personality, Purna Bhaktitva. Emotionally, I should be sound. I should have better feelings. If I do not have a better feelings for others, what is the usefulness of philosophy and science at all? Even if I am a great scientist, I will commit suicide tomorrow because I do not have feelings for my nation, for my family, for my creation, for my work. I should be a karma yogi. And in order to be a karma yogi, I not only I should have only the skills of a karma, or I should have only jnana. I should have the sense of a love, sense of a dedication, sense of a learning, sense of accepting others, sense of synthesizing the diversities. That is nothing but religious attitude, feelings, emotion, and all these three: inquiring, knowing, and feeling. Inquiring, knowing, and feeling. Philosophy, science, and religion. These three, if they are groomed properly by man, then man is man. Otherwise, he is not man. That is the purpose of a man, that we should have a complete personality. Purna Bhaktitva. Mahavira Jina has raised this question. Therefore, he said, Sadvada, Sadvada, Sadvada. Many great philosophers, they have discussed this, that our knowledge is incomplete. Just be aware of this limitation. That is enough. Then there will be no conflict. We are committing two mistakes. We think, as a suppose we are taking one discipline, and we think that this discipline is the best one. Now this is one mistake. And the second mistake is we try to influence over other disciplines with the tool of that discipline that we cherish. Suppose I am a scientist, I shall influence over religion and philosophy. Suppose I am a great philosopher, I shall not obey the rules of science and the principle of religion. If I am a great religious man, example Christian authority Pope, then I shall influence the philosophy and science. I shall never allow them to develop. This competition should not be, so far as the modern mind is concerned, modern technology is concerned, modern civilization is concerned. Otherwise, we are going to hell. If there is a conflict between the inner possibilities, three possibilities, philosophy, science, and religion, if there is conflict, then we are going to hell. If these three are integrated, we are going to heaven. The choice is ours. Thank you. Achha, now we shall invite Professor Abhinav Srivastava who is appearing to be
No, no, no.
very pleased and
I'm
very
I'm
grateful, very
really
thankful.
I'm very enlightened by the talk of Professor Marazi. And after a long gap of time, I happened to come here. Let me first congratulate him for
Thank you,
his
sir.
brilliant speech. And he has just such a sound speech he has given. I
Thank
appreciate him like anything. I congratulate him.
thank-
And one
thank-
thing I would like to, last but not the least, that every science has a religion and religion has also its science. And for your information, if you happen to see the Newton's particularly, he has taken most of his scientific inquiries and investigation from Kanad theory of Vaisheshik Sutra, and you will feel, if you happen to go all these things, even his relativity, gravity, and all these things, he has just translated the Vaisheshik Sutra into two. If you so like, I can send you.
Yes,
Yeah, I can send you the
welcome.
things. The source is there. The Kanad Sutra is there. The interpretation of Kanad is there, and you will see that the entire thing has been just copied from Kanad itself. So the Western religion and Western science, and every science rather, every science has its own religion, and religion has its own science, because religion stands in Vedic tradition, dharma, dharayate iti dharma, that principles that helps in uploading the helping the human being flourish and prolong his civilization and body and the society. That is the dharma, and that dharma is very scientific in itself. And that's why I say, lastly, that every religion has science and every science has science.
Yes, so
Thank
just
you, sir.
yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
very enlightening speech. I'm rather lucky that I am present here. Thank you so much.
To you all, sir. So just I would like to add one point. As Sir Said has said, this world universe is the work of God,
Sir,
and the scripture is the word of God. How a work of God can deny or contradict the word of God? So if we see in that light, then this world will take us to God, and God will take us to the world. So, but the problem is when we just compartmentalize things, then we feel there is fragmentation. Otherwise, there is unity only.
right
Thank
you are, sir.
you
One
very
more
much.
thing I would say, फलसफे के बहस के अंदर खुदा मिलता नहीं, फलसफे के बहस के अंदर खुदा मिलता नहीं, कि डोर को सुलझा रहा हूं पर सिरा मिलता नहीं. Thank you once again, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinash ji. Very beautifully you said, and you remarked also your observation. One thing I shall just say, I shall have a compliment for Professor Srinivasan ji. You said that dharayati iti dharma. Dharma means dharayati iti dharma. That which has the capacity to hold together, to hold together. In that sense also, there is an integration between philosophy, science, and religion. These three should be held together. Otherwise, we shall have a fragmented personality. So, how religion helps to hold together our three aspects: the aspects of inquiring, the aspect of knowing. Knowing means practical living, practical action, karma, that is science, and also the feelings. These three aspects should be blended together, should be held together. Dharayati iti dharma. If any one of these three principles is discarded, is out of the order, then we cannot have the complete personality. We shall have a biased personality, fragmented personality. Acha, okay, last
There's
but not the
one point just I would like to make
yes,
one
yes,
sentence.
yes, yes,
Professor,
yes.
this is one great man from Turkey whose name was Bediüzzaman Nursi. He says that we should teach the religious people science, and we should teach, instruct the scientific people about religion. And he says there should be three-way, education. One is spiritual, second is worldly, third is religious. When we combine these three, then only we can have complete personalities. Otherwise, there will be fragmented personalities. So this is the, as Quran also says, deen means, which is a complete code of conduct, which does
Thank
not
you.
cater the needs of only mind or body, but also of soul and spirit. So when all
Very nice.
these needs are fulfilled by religion, by philosophy, by science, and even by mysticism and poetry and literature, then only we can have the complete human beings who are not fragmented human beings, who are not, I should say, uh, uh, corrupted in their attitude towards life and the universe. Thank you very much. It was really a great pleasure to talk to you all great people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I have one announcement for Professor Ruby Sen, madam. Madam, please submit your paper.
Yes, yes, I will say,
Yes,
I'll send that. Don't worry. Just 10 days back, I had undergone
yes,
cataract operation, for my left
yes,
eye. So that's why I'm little bit worried about that. But I'm sending you very soon. Ah, I'm
yes. We
trying to
shall.
send it within 7 days. Within seven
We
days.
can
Okay.
yes, so that we can add it in our coming volume. And also, Professor
Yes.
Maraji, if possible, you can present this paper so that
Okay,
we can add. So
okay.
within 5 days or within 1 week, both of you please submit your papers.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely. I will
I'll
do
Because this is
certain definitely.
yes, madam, and this is also a very nice topic to have an
Yes,
article.
I missed what Professor Hamid said. I missed that, but uh,
but,
but
but, but
I heard
yes,
the last last remarks, and from
yes,
that I can realize that how charmful was today's seminar,
yes,
Thank you.
or
yes.
webinar.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
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 madam, because you are the latecomer, only two
yes.
sentences
That's right.
I am telling you for the theme of the entire discussion today. The first one is if there is an integration between philosophy, science, and religion, we have innovative creation, we have development, we have civilization. If
Okay.
they on competing against each other, they go on influencing each other, as our history says,
Hmm.
then we are going to hell. We are going to destruction.
Right, right,
This
right.
is the
Absolutely.
theme. This is the theme of
Hmm.
our today's discussion. Anyway,
Yes.
now we shall end here, and I
Okay.
shall
Thank you
request.
so much.
Yes, I shall request Dr. Kailas Mahanaji. Please have your last remark and vote of thanks.
Okay, so
Thank.
you will
Okay.
send me your mobile number, my WhatsApp number, so that I can send you the material on science and religion. Okay, sir.
Could not hear you, sir. Please, Abhinash ji.
Sir, how Einstein has copied the entire Vaisheshik Sutra and translated in his own thoughts of gravity and all these things. So this is nothing but the translation of the Kanada Sutra, Vaisheshik Sutra itself. I will give some sort of feedback to it. The
So you will,
original
sir. Please deliver a talk over it, sir.
I
In the
have very less material, and otherwise I will give. Now I shall be getting free because of some work was there, and
sir, you will
thereafter,
speak. Sir, you will speak
thereafter I
extempore.
can deliver as you
Yes,
say.
yes, sir.
Ah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay,
Sir,
sir.
yes, we shall invite you to deliver a talk on this maybe very soon in the month of July. Okay, and before our annual day ceremony, our annual day ceremony will be held on 27th July, or like that. So before that, we shall invite you. So with this, I
Okay.
am
Okay.
inviting Kailash sir for proposing vote of thanks and giving the last remark, last
Okay.
words of appreciation.
Okay. 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 Thanks so much. Okay, Dr. Das, for inviting me. And I was very carefully listening to the talk of Professor Maraji today. Personally, I have been benefited by the uh, very inspiring and conceptual talk of Professor Maraji. And Professor Maraji has today very clearly given the conceptual analysis of the three domains. He has also given the integration of three domains of human knowledge: science, philosophy, and religion. And I was also listening the observation made by Dr. Srinivasan, Dr. Alok Tandon, Dr. Das, and Dr. Abhinas. And today, I have been also very benefited out of their observation. And I was listening to how carefully and intelligently Professor Maraji has given his response to the queries and observation made by Dr. Srinivasan. And when Alok Tandon, uh, Dr. Alok Tandon presented his observation regarding the limitation of religion, and he said that how philosophical domain is in between the science and religion, and philosophy people can help in this regard. He has highlighted that philosophy people can help in this regard, and particularly he wanted to be clarified about the limitation of the domain of the religion, and his reflective thought on limited knowledge may not be ignored, and it has a very constructive outlook, constructive thought, actually, for the reflective for the development of reflect thought in human knowledge. And I was also listening to to Dr. Das, and Dr. Das has given the three aspects very clearly. He has given his own observation mm, in appreciation of the talk of Professor Maraji. He has synthesized the aspects of knowing, aspects of inquiry, and aspects of feeling. He had synthesized it for the integration of human knowledge. The three domains can give the integration of human knowledge, and it can give the complete, it can lead the complete personality of human beings, human knowledge. And Dr. Das has raised the necessity of the three domains for the development of human knowledge and development of the human civilization. And I know that there is a compatibility of science and religion, and philosophy, and science and philosophy, and religion. And Professor Maraji has given his right perspective, that is on his stand. He has made his stand very clear, and he has not ignored any domain. He has given the integral approach, that is of the three domains, and for harmonious development of human knowledge, because he has given many talks on the harmony of interfaith, and he has worked for it, for establishing peace that is on the earth. And Professor Das and Professor Maraji has given the emphasis on the scientists, the role of scientists, role of philosophers, and role of the religious thinkers. He said that scientists, philosophers, and religious thinkers have the responsibility for the integral development of human knowledge, for the holistic development of humanity, for the holistic development of the human thought and the human civilization. And he has given the emphasis on the development of body, development of mind, development of spirit, development of soul. They have to be integrated, that is to have a complete personality. So his holistic approach, his holistic thought, that is, and can harmonize the human knowledge, and it can inspire others, that is to have a compatibility of the knowledge and for the growth of knowledge. Thank you so much, sir, for the inspiring us, that is with your thought, with
My
your
pleasure.
analysis, and with your new dimension of thought. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. I have been also very benefited by the approach of Dr. Das. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes, yes.
So I, on behalf of Philosophy Family, I extend my gratitude to Professor Maraji, Professor Srinivasan, Professor Tondon, Professor Das, Professor Avinash, Professor Rui Madam, and all the senior professors to be with us, and the viewers that they are present till now. I also extend my gratitude to them to be with her. Today's evening, very meaningful, very
Yes,
significant
yes,
for
yes, yes,
many grounds,
yes,
many
yes.
perspectives. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Dr. Mahana, I shall
Yes.
conclude this session only with two sentences as the compliment to Professor Maharaji. Abhinash ji, uh, we all noticed
Obvious
that.
are also he has
We,
also given a thought that how that is every science has a religion, every science and every
Religious.
religion has science. Oh,
yes, yes, yes. We all noticed that Professor Maharaji has already delivered more than 10 talks here in this forum. But this one is the best one. Why?
excellent one,
Because
excellent one. This is
excellent
very
one,
excellent one.
and this is the masterpiece. Because from Srinivas ji, I am telling you,
Mhm.
in this, particularly in this evening, there is no influence of Islam, any Muslim religion, anything else over the discussion. Being a Muslim, despite the fact that he belongs to Islamic religion, he did not speak a single sentence about Islamic religion, discussing philosophy, science, and discussing the religion between philosophy, science, and the religion. He took religion in general, he took science in general, and he took philosophy in general, and that was the real purpose of this discussion in this evening.
Thank you, sir. So kind of.
This is the
Yes,
real
yes.
spirit.
So
Yes,
kind
that
of.
is the real
This is
spirit,
the
and
real
and,
spirit.
and that should be the attitude of a speaker.
Yeah.
That we
Yeah.
should not we should not have any preoccupation in our mind. We should not go through the preoccupied thoughts that I shall influence my religion, I shall influence my philosophy, I shall
No, no.
influence my scientific temper also on a complete whole.
Because I was talking
This,
on religion, philosophy, and science, not about Islam, not
yes,
about
yes, 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 yes. That is very
Buddhism.
nice. That is very nice of you and very rational of you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
we all appreciate. We all. Ruby Madam, this is the final take of this session.
So kind of you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
This
Professor Marazi, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
yes.
Thank you.
With
You
this,
Thank you, Virajji.
So nice.
Thank
It's a wonderful.
Pranam, sir. Pranam, sir.
person
I
J.
am
Ram,
waiting. I
Pranam.
am waiting for the papers from
I will
Professor Maraji and Professor Ruby Madam.
I will send.
Thank
Mr.
Okay, okay. Surely
Mr.
I will send.
Naki, Mr. Pramodji, Srinaji, and all brothers and professors. Thank you very much. Good night.
you. Thank you.
thank you.
Session is over.